And welcome back. And we promised as of the end of last week that we would tell you more details about our Dare to Jump sweepstakes. And here with us, we actually have our partner in this particular initiative, Rich Grimm, who is the owner of Tsunami Skydive and is the one behind the boogie in Belize that is about to take place. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
We understand it's very difficult to have you down on land right now, but thank you for taking this moment.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, Rich, you have quite a history with Belize and coordinating this particular trip, which you call a boogie. And it's just skydivers from all over the world coming to Belize to jump out of planes.
Right, correct.
Tell us how this first got started.
So way back when I came to Belize and went out to San Pedro, and I've been skydiving since 1980, and I came with my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, and I wanted to impress her, and we came to San Pedro and I said, wow, what a great place to bring skydivers. I mean, the view, the reef, and you've been on a jump with us, so you know how beautiful it is here above. And so we actually, it took me 8 trips to come here to talk with the government officials, because they were like, skydiving, are you crazy? We don't have that here. And we eventually got the permission, and the first year we brought 99 people from around the world, and we did 8 events in 7 years here. And then, as you know, San Pedro's growing, and our landing area got smaller. So we went to some different countries. We went to Nicaragua, we've been to Mexico, we've been out to Palau and Micronesia. We've been in Costa Rica the last 3 years, and people beg me, please, Rich, can we go back to Belize? And so we got permission to use a private island to skydive on, which is much bigger. So I said, okay, let's do it, and the people were so excited. So this year we have 127 people, and they're coming from as far away as Australia, Hong Kong, Dubai, Sweden, European countries.
Just to be able to skydive over Belize.
Yes, yes, and what's not to love? And we also bring a lot of people from cold weather climates who are they're tired of shoveling snow, and they can't wait to come and use their parachute instead of their snow shovel. So,
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So, of course, it's been since 2011 that you've coordinated a boogie in Belize.
Yes.
You call them boogies. And so you're back, and a part of what we're working on is trying to give a Belizean an experience, a first-time experience in skydiving.
We can't wait.
So I've tried to explain to people as best as I can just why it's such a great experience. But tell us from your perspective. You've probably met a number of first-time experience. What is it about skydiving that attracts people?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it's the big adrenaline. I mean, skydiving goes against everything in your brain, right? You want to stay in the airplane with the door shut, stay flying. And as you know, the feeling when the door opens and the plane slows down and we're at 13,000 feet above the ocean and we're going to jump out. And when you get your feet to the edge, you overcome your fears. But as you know, in the airplane, everyone's, yay, okay, have a great jump. And you can't describe skydiving. We've all run, kicked the ball, swim. You can't describe what it's like to step out of the airplane. And everyone thinks, oh, my stomach's gonna, go, and it's as you know, you don't feel like you're falling, right? You feel like you're just suspended, a lot of wind on the face. We look really silly, as you see in the videos. The wind gets you.
That's what I told them. I said, everything flaps that shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah, well, we're going 120 miles an hour. And then when the parachute opens, and it's so quiet and beautiful. And for a lot of people, it's the big bucket list thing for a lot of people. But people, when they get down, people always, they say, when are we going again? Because it's such an adrenaline rush, but it also does not have the feeling that people think it was going to have. And then when they get down, they're like, wow, I want to do that again.
For some reason, just looking at it, I would describe it as either exhilarating in the first instance and then serene.
Yes.
The idea of jumping out of an aircraft.
Let's step back one step. fear,
Fear.
exhilaration,
And that fear is
tranquility, right?
Yeah, that fear just right before when you really look out, there's just that when reality sets in and you understand the risk that you're taking.
Sure,
Obviously.
of course, of course.
And that you are knowingly choosing to do so. It's a bit empowering to a certain extent. If you weren't pushed out, if you have to be pushed out, I don't know how empowered you are. But if you do choose to jump, there's a bit of empowerment in taking action. Yeah.
And we've had a few people checking out up in the plane, and I owned a skydiving center in California for a number of years, and we had out of 20,000 people, we had 5 or 6 people, not jump, but we've only ever had about 1 or 2 people who, when they got on the ground, they were like, I'll never do that again. Yeah. Everyone else is, when can I do this again? Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, you probably, in your experience, and what is it, how many jumps have you done now?
Just over 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Do you still get the same adrenaline rush every single time?
Yeah, once you become an experienced skydiver, so I can go jump at a skydiving center in America, right? And I just go and we jump and it's great and we have a great time. But if I can come here and I can skydive into the blue hole, my adrenaline level, and I've made 10 skydives into the blue hole, and I can't wait for next week when I make my 11th. So I'm like a little kid at Christmas. I'm waiting for Christmas morning. But as you get experience, it's doing different things in the skydiving world, flying a wingsuit, trying different skydiving disciplines. But the thing is, it's who you're jumping with and where you're jumping. And when we jump, when we go to an exotic place, and here, it is so beautiful. And I've skydived all over the world, and I'll have to say, Belize is the most beautiful place I've ever stepped out of an airplane. By
you
far.
were the first your group was the first to skydive into the blue hole, right?
Yes, in 2005 we got permission from the government, and we took 9 people, 10 of us because we had the video guy, and we made this iconic jump, which you've seen with the blue hole in the center of us. And we were, and look, the skydivers on that jump were all highly experienced, and we were all scared to death because we're like, okay, we're going to jump 50 miles out in the ocean into a 450-foot deep shark-infested aquarium surrounded by razor-sharp coral. What could possibly go wrong? Let's get on paper you first, right? So that, and when we did it, we were like, oh my God, because then we scuba dive it, right? Because you can skydive and then scuba dive, but you can't scuba dive and then skydive. Yeah. So wow, and when you're out there, it is by far the most magnificent skydive on Earth.
Wow.
One of the fascinating things that you've mentioned earlier that I've only seen on TV, I'll admit, is the idea of the winged suit. Can you speak to us a bit about that?
So wingsuits were developed, the earliest ones about 20 years ago. People started flying them, and so what a wingsuit does is it slows you down, and then you can actually cover a lot of ground. So on a wingsuit, I could get out over Municipal Airport at 13,000 feet over the city here and almost fly to Key Hawker, right? So you can really cover a lot of ground. And of course now the guys are base jumping and flying them down the mountains and all that craziness. So skydiving, it's like every sport, it evolves, it has new things. You probably remember way back when people used to sky surf on a board. That was a big thing, the X Games. And so the sport's always evolving. But the one thing I also like to just real quick, when the group comes here and we come to Belize, we try to give back to the community, and it's really fun for us. We can't wait to see who wins this contest, because we always, we've done so much for the island and for the rest of the country. We bring school supplies for all the school kids. I host a poker tournament, a fundraiser. So we always want to. When we go to different countries, we always want to leave it better than we found it. And it's our thank you for allowing us to come to this beautiful place and have a great time.
Now, you've probably found in your experience those first-time skydivers who want to use, first-time experience, who want to use that experience as kind of a jumping point, literally, for changes they want to make. Tell us about some of the amazing stories you've heard.
So people have come and they skydive for all different reasons, and people that would go and make a tandem skydive somewhere. So a tandem's the easiest way. You have, the instructor has the big parachute, and then the person wears a harness, and you're attached.
You just go along for the ride.
You're right. And so, but we had a lady that came in to our skydive center in California. She had lost 180 pounds because all she wanted to do was make a skydive. And she came in, and we have a weight limit because the gear is only rated to 230 pounds. So she lost all this weight. She came in at like 150 pounds. She looked great, and it was fantastic. We've had people that have jumped with us because they beat cancer, and they're like, I've been in the hospital for a year, which you were just talking about all the cancer issues. They've beaten cancer. They're going to go jump. We have people who, jump because they want to get engaged. We've had people give diamond rings in the airplane before they've jumped, or usually we ask them, because usually the girl gets so emotional. We don't want her emotional on the skydive, so we ask them, propose to her when you land. We land, and then
besides, it's a bit risky if the ring doesn't fit, right?
Yeah, that's right. We don't want to lose the diamond ring in free fall, or she catches it on the door of the airplane or something. So we've had people propose, and we've had people, and we have people come back and say it was so life-changing because it made them realize that they can do anything. They can overcome their fears and really do it, right?
We found some great clips, which we've been sharing. The Will Smith clip is obviously very popular right now.
Exactly.
Talking about facing fear and fear in that way. A few TED Talks as well.
Right.
For the people who are watching, and we have obviously some people who are saying, "Oh, I would love to try, but that is just too scary. Something might go wrong." What would you say to them about what kind of expectations to have?
So and look, anytime you go up in an airplane, right? Anytime you fly, there's risk. Anytime that you are going to step out of that airplane, there's risk. But what we do is when we come here, we bring the best state-of-the-art skydive gear, right? And people say, oh, the parachute won't open. Well, the parachute's always going to go open. That's not how accidents happen. So we bring the best instructors, and the instructors that we bring have over 10,000 skydives. They're world champion skydivers. I let my son just turned 18, so at our event last year in Costa Rica, he jumped with one of my good friends who's one of our instructors. So I would let my own kids go with our instructors, right? And as you went, you felt, and what they have a calming effect because you're attached to them. Look, they don't want anything to go wrong because they're stuck to you. They can't release you. So we do everything. We have a strict set of safety rules. It's like driving your car. If you follow the speed limit, wear your seatbelt, and your car is well maintained, you're probably not going to have an accident, right? You're not going to have anything go wrong. And that's with skydiving. It's with anything aviation related. You do everything you can to mitigate the risk. Now, that being said, you're still stepping out of the airplane at 13,000 feet above the ground.
But you get that free fall, and that's worth it.
And that's why we go back up and go back up.
How long is it? Is it about 60 seconds? I was trying to remember.
Well, a tandem opens higher because, and again, it's safety margin because you have a person in front of you, and if you have an issue, you want to be able to have more time. So licensed skydivers usually get about 60 seconds, 40 to 60 seconds. A tandem gets about 40 seconds of free fall. And as you know, it seems like an eternity. You think 40 seconds, that's not very long, but when you're falling through the sky, you're like, wow, this is really good. And as you can see from the videos, that's great. That's it. And so it also gives you just that feeling of freedom when you're skydiving and accomplishment, right? You have a great feeling of accomplishment. I did it. I've overcome my fears.
When we did it back in, it was probably 2011.
2011, I think.
It was definitely one of our features that a lot of people watched and commented on. And I think because it speaks to the fear that most others have. So we're so happy that you have partnered with us that we can give this experience
we can't
to
wait. Yeah.
someone who feels that it's what they need right now in their life. If it's an experience they want to have in their life right now. So
explain to me. So they're going to write into the.
yes, so
they're going to email the show.
They
and
nominate themselves or someone
Okay.
else. Obviously, the other person has to be in agreement to talk about why this experience would be meaningful to them. And then we make a selection. The deadline is this February 9th, and then we make a selection from there, and then we start to coordinate for this dive.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
So we'll have a good story there too.
Well, good luck, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well,
good luck.
thank you as well, Rich, and best of luck with the boogie. The boogie gets started when?
Everyone arrives on Saturday. We start jumping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we go to the Blue Hole Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I can't wait.
Look at the excitement on his face. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm like, this is like Christmas morning coming.
Yeah.
I'm 5 years old and we're waiting for Santa Claus.
All right, but thank you for coming in and
Thanks,
sharing
guys.
this experience with
Sure,
us.
thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back,